According to atheists, life came into being through chance probabilities. I won't go into detail. But there is one important thing that is overlooked. Every possibility gives rise to another possibility. Every other possibility leads to another possibility. This becomes a vicious circle and goes on. This method does not lead us to the truth. However, there is only one truth, and the truth is always the correct answer. The truth is unchangeable and cannot be changed, but it can be shown to us in different variations through magic or can be covered up with lies. Ultimately, the truth is unique and it is there, waiting to be discovered. The truth is out there. The X-Files. Atheists always rely on these possibilities and put forward dozens of theses just to avoid proving the Jewish, Arab God Elah, Elohim, El-Elah, Allah right. The funniest thing is the Cambrian explosion. All life emerged after this explosion. But when we ask questions like, how did the elements that caused this explosion come into being? Did they decide to appear all of a sudden? Where were they until then? Etc., there are no logical answers. It's always a vicious circle. It just happened. Just like the Big Bang theory that Muslims defend. According to them, God came from nothing, created this Big Bang, and life began after this explosion, etc. Isn't it interesting? Two opposing groups are trying to reach the truth through two possibilities that are similar, though not the same. Well, were they able to reach it? Of course not. Because this is not the truth. It does not come into being from nothing. In order for something to come into being, it must use something else that already exists, living or non-living, it doesn't matter. According to Muslims, Allah came into being from nothing. This answer is wrong because such a thing is neither physically nor logically possible. Nothingness is static and infinite. Unless there is an action-reaction that will set it into motion, it will remain single and static in infinity. In this eternal stasis, an action-reaction must have occurred for God to have emerged. In this case, it turns out that it also has a creator, and that creator also has a creator, and the creator of that creator also has a creator. This is another vicious circle, and isn't this the real answer either? So what is the truth? The truth is this. This world is a laboratory. It is a field and it is surrounded by a circle. It is not a huge ball spinning in infinite void nothingness. This is very illogical. For this to be possible, the world must be completely iron and the universe ground must be a complete magnet. Who started this cycle and how is also a mystery. By chance? I don't think so. Anyway, that's not the topic. I think the world is a field. There is a unit council that designs this field and all the living and non-living things in it. In the Quran, this is the supreme assembly called the Mili-Allah. At the head of this unit are ultra-intelligent humanoid beings. Some call them aliens. This is partly true, but incomplete. Whatever is happening in the field of the world is through their hands. Just like in the Westworld series, by the way, be sure to watch that series, it is the closest answer to the truth. There is intelligent design, yes, and those who designed it are ultra-intelligent humanoids. Just like us, but superior to us. I think all DNA codons are open too. There are those that can live for more than 1,000 years. Every once in a while they come among us and perform things that normal people would call miracles. For example, healing the blind or resurrecting the dead, etc. Ordinary people, however, cannot make sense of this and choose to worship them. Thus, the phenomenon called religion emerges. See Quran Araf 143, Baqarah 259, Bible Micah 1/1, Torah Ezekiel. These super-intelligent humanoids are so intelligent that they can edit their own DNA and transfer it to other creatures. In this way, they can create many living species with the same chromosome substructure. So the origin is the same. So what's the point? Of course, serve them. Both physically and spiritually. They know us much better than we know ourselves. The command they have given us is, reproduce, be born, live, serve, and die. No one can get out of this system. Even if they want to leave, they are destroyed in some way. Tribe of Lot. Homosexuality. They want you to fulfill the duty, life given to you within the circle drawn for you. You must live so they can examine you further. Let them study you so that by learning your weaknesses they can become stronger. You carry their most basic DNA. You used to be stronger and could live for thousands of years like them, but when you rebelled against them, they restricted your DNA and exiled you to other places, banished you from heaven. You must work to obtain more gold so that they can ensure both their own existence and the continuity of their watchmen in the world with their material consisting of this superconductor mineral, which is the most valid and never loses value in this world. Dying is forbidden. They gave you sexual pleasures not so that you would die, but so that you could reproduce and multiply. It's the same with animals. They will reproduce and multiply for you, and you for your owners. This is why they have forbidden death, murder, suicide, in all religions, but when the time comes and reproduction gets out of control and enough gold is stocked, they will destroy the masses en masse anyway. They have such equipment and technology. They may not say anything about a few suicides or murders, or a few homosexual marriages, but if these turn into a mass movement, rest assured, they will all rush into the arena, as was the case at the time of Jesus. See the Bible, Revelation. They are very afraid of great awakenings and great formations. They put their officials, religious and political figures, in place to prevent these from growing. If they cannot succeed, they use science. They destroy those societies with weapons of mass destruction, see destruction of nations. Yes, the God you worship as Allah is also a part of this system. Some called him Zeus, some Odin, some Yahweh, some Elohim, some Jesus, some Jupiter and some Allah. What they all had in common was that they could control electricity and magnetism, the sources of life. Using this power, they could create, kill, and repair. This is why they used the plural when they said, "We created you," and this is why polytheism was widespread in the early times among the first humans. So, let's ask the most important question now, shall we? If these created us, then who created them? Look, we don't know the answer to this question yet. For now, we can only proceed through possibilities. Perhaps such a scenario does not exist in reality. Maybe their life stories are very different. Maybe their reproduction is very different. Maybe they don't have such a thing as reproduction. Maybe their lives were started in a different system with different methods, etc. As I said, no one knows the answer for now, and the truth is waiting to be discovered. As the Bible says, when we know the truth we will be free.